if there is anything that you can do to make people hate you right now, it's have an opinion on literally fucking anything. And I'm going to tell you my opinion on everything. Oh, how fun is that going to be? Let's run through it. If economic globalization is inevitable, it should primarily serve humanity rather than the interests of transnational corporations. I agree, 100%. Pretty obvious to me. I'd always support my country whether it is right or wrong. I disagree. For example, Iran war right now, not supporting the U.S. I'm not supporting Iran either, right? Between the two, I'm supporting the U.S., but I'm not in support of the decision that we are in another country, given the information that I know. No one chooses their country of birth, so it's foolish to be proud of it. I disagree. I think that in general, countries have like a culture, and you have a right to be proud of your culture because you have things in common with them, and therefore you should be a little bit proud of your country. Our race has many superior qualities compared with other races. Cool. This is probably the question that I'm least happy to answer. Here's why. I don't think that there's a superior race. Just to get that off the board. I hate that I have to fucking play this little safety card all the time. I think it's so stupid. I just want to have my opinion. And if you disagree, you disagree. I'm not going to hate you for it. But I know people will hate me for it. Here's the thing. There is differences between races, right? There is genetic differences. There is, for example, I'm in the fitness space. White people store fat differently than black people do. Indians store fat differently than both of those people do. Middle Easterns store fat tremendously well. They store it in their legs. I had a roommate who, as much as he would gain weight, it would all go to his legs, and his legs were just fucking huge, and he'd still have abs. Really unfair. At the end of the day, different races have different genetic qualities when it comes to their physical appearance, other than just skin color, right? You'll notice trends. There's a statement called black hair, right? I'm over-justifying this. Then you look at, I've already Googled this earlier, what percent of your genome is your brain? It's 84% of your genome is your brain. So if there are ties in this, in these physical traits, there's probably ties in your mental traits as well. I think that races are different. Therefore, every race has superior qualities to every other race. And I strongly believe this. There are things that every single race is better at compared to other races. You're designed for different environments, right? White people cannot survive in Africa as well as black people can because they were grown in that area to survive those conditions. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Agree, I think. I don't really like this question, right? I don't like the idea of Vinland Saga.
Because I have no enemies.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend. I think I agree with this. Right, if I'm against somebody and they're against them, we can work together. I don't know if we're friends though. I don't know. I don't really care for this. Military action that defies international law is sometimes justified. I agree. The best way to think about this is hypotheticals. So let's say country has nuclear bomb and they want to kill New York. They're going to nuke New York. The only way that we can stop this nuclear bomb is by blowing up their city, their entire city first. It'll kill less people, or like using plastic grenades or something. I don't know all the international laws. We have to break some international law to stop them. By us doing this, we are doing something that's really terrible, obviously, because we're breaking international law, but we're preventing absolute catastrophe. I think that military action is justified. There is now a worrying fusion between information and entertainment. I strongly agree. So, with the news is now trying to become as entertaining as possible and not as informational as possible. The reason for that is entertainment is what is bringing money, and people will watch the more entertaining news. Therefore, all news organizations are trying to become more entertaining, and that is what's creating such polarized news. And this super polarized news is creating a very polarized country, and it's very worrying, right? I've talked about how bad polarization is all the time. I'm very pro ranked choice voting because of that. Another thing that I think ranked choice voting would fix is the terrible news system that we have. Okay, the economy. People are ultimately divided by class more than nationality. Absolutely agree. So many people are trying to say that we're divided by nationality and color of our skin and things like that, and I strongly disagree with that. The bigger divide is the rich versus the poor. Absolutely. 100% agree with that. Yeah. I think it was Mom Donnie actually who had a great quote on this. And that is the only minority that's causing problems in the United States is the rich. I think that's his quote, which, yeah, fucking fire quote, Mom Donnie. Controlling inflation is more important than controlling unemployment. Wow. That's hard. So I think I disagree. The thing with inflation, it affects everybody. Semi-minorly. It actually does have a bigger impact than unemployment does because like people can't survive to live or afford to live, right? If you look at the recession, a lot of fucking people died during the recession. A lot of people. And that's just because of inflation. I still think I disagree just because unemployment, like inflation, you can almost cushion a little bit because it's a more delayed impact slightly. So you can pull some levers to worsen its effects over time. You can kind of prepare for it a little bit. Versus unemployment, I mean, that person just doesn't have a job. And that sucks. So I think I might disagree with this. But I don't know for sure. I don't think I know enough. Because corporations cannot be trusted to voluntarily protect the environment, they require regulation. I work in the oil and gas industry. Every single environmental regulation, we get as close as possible to because that maximizes our profits. If those regulations didn't exist, every single company would just do everything that is maximizing profits, and it would be terrible for the environment. You absolutely need those. From each according to his ability to each according to his need is a fundamentally good idea. This is Karl Marx, which instantly gives me a bias against it. I'm going to be honest. I still disagree. My understanding of the statement, and please correct me in the comment section if I'm wrong, is if you are doing the best that you can possibly do, you should get equal things as everybody else. I disagree with that. The problem is the more skilled people are going to do less because they know that they're going to get the same as everybody else. And it just creates this competition of who can do the least amount and still get the same amount, right? That's what the problem with communism is in general. And this statement, to me, is the proof of that. I strongly disagree, actually, if my understanding of the statement is the true understanding of the statement. The freer the market, the freer the people. I agree. I believe in a free market. It's a sad reflection on our society that something as basic as drinking water is now a bottled branded consumer product. I disagree. Water has different qualities, right? Just not everybody should have access to Fiji water, like having a more expensive water that some people like versus others makes sense. Land shouldn't be a commodity to be bought and sold. I disagree. I think that the only things that you have a board that should be rights, I guess, are food, water, shelter. Land, I don't think that you have a right to land. It is regrettable that many personal fortunes are made by people who simply manipulate money and contribute nothing to society. I agree. I think that a lot of people use this statement to justify things like the CEO makes too much money and I make no money. Even though I'm the one actually making the product, the CEO does so much more than you, right? This statement does not apply to cases like that. What this statement applies to in reality is things like BlackRock, where they're simply just moving money and manipulating markets and they're making money, right? I think that's bad. Protectionism is sometimes necessary in trade. This is things like tariffs. I agree. I think that at times you need to do things that are net negatives as far as the whole globe goes in order to benefit your own country more. The only social responsibility of a company should be to deliver profit to its shareholders. Wow. Oh, wow. So this is the famous case of Dodge v. Ford, where Ford wanted to pay their employees more because they, in thanks to their profits, and not pay their shareholders as much. The issue with this absolutely snowballs, right? It sounds good, right? Pay your employees more. How awesome. the issue is if it's not actually a benefit to the company and it's a detriment to the shareholders, those shareholders will no longer invest in you. The shareholders no longer have trust and investment in general. And the entire stock market, all of New York, ceases to be what it is today without this statement right here. So a lot of people will call Dodge the ultimate bad guy in that lawsuit. I actually think that they did the right thing. I don't know the whole lore behind the lawsuit and why they were suing Ford in the first place. But if you invest in a company and that company is not going to do everything that they can to help you in your investment, you're never going to want to invest in that company. All of New York and our stock market falls apart. And that is one of the things that makes America so great, because so many other countries invest in the New York stock market and they hold American dollars because of that so that they can invest in the New York stock market. And it makes the US dollar extremely strong because of this statement. So, yeah. The rich are too highly taxed. I disagree in the sense that proportionality, right? I think that the rich are properly taxed. I think that they should pay more in taxes than the poor. I'm sort of pro a flat tax, but I think that a progressive tax is better. But I think that everybody is too highly taxed. Right? I think the poor are too highly taxed. I think that everybody's paying too much in taxes. So that would mean the rich are too highly taxed. So if we're talking proportionality, I disagree. If we're talking just monetarily, I agree. Right? What are they talking about here? Right? I think, okay, this is going to shift me left or right, not authoritarian or libertarian, right? This is going to shift me left or right. Me saying agree is going to shift me more right. Me saying disagree is going to shift me more left. Why am I saying this? Because now it's like, oh, which way does he want to shift himself? I just kind of fucking pigeonhole myself a little bit. I'm just going to shift myself a little bit more left. Why not? Okay. Those with the ability to pay should have access to higher standards of medical care. 100% agree. Yeah. You strongly agree even. So, first thing, more people die in Great Britain every year waiting for healthcare than do in the US because they can't afford healthcare, right? So this is why universal healthcare is in general a bad thing, right? And that's something a lot of people are going to disagree with, but it saves more lives. The other thing is, if everybody has the same access to the best doctor, everybody's going to try and get that doctor, and now that doctor is incredibly overworked, right? What you need is price differences so that the people who get the best doctor are paying him a lot more, and that way he can get more money. It's like something capitalism is really good at is if you are really good at something, you get paid more because people want your work more. That's how I think it should be. I do think that the U.S. medical system fucking sucks and needs massive reform. Yeah, absolutely. But people who can pay more should have access to higher standards of medical care. Yes. Because there is a limited amount of that high standard of medical care. Things that don't have limited amounts, like good schooling, for example. I don't think that college's price should increase because there's not a limited amount to that education. You can educate as many people as you want. You could have, if you have a 500-person lecture, you could put that lecture online and now everybody can see it. You know what I mean? So things like that where the price keeps increasing, I don't think is necessary. Government should penalize businesses that mislead the public. Yeah, I mean, I agree, but who decides what's misleading? That's the only thing I kind of disagree with. A genuine free market requires restrictions on the ability of predator multinationals to create monopolies. Holy shit, that's a lot of words that I mispronounced. A genuine free market requires restrictions on the ability of predator multinationals to create monopolies. Yes, I agree with that. I think that a true free market that allows monopolies is not good. It's not really a free market. Okay, abortion. Hooray, I get to be hated more. Abortion, when the women's life is not threatened, should always be illegal. I disagree. I think that abortion's in the right spot in the U.S. right now, where it's in all the different states. If you think abortion is immoral, like I do think that it is killing a baby and preventing a life, then you can live in a state where it is illegal. if you think that abortion is a right, which a lot of women do, and I understand that. I'm not a woman, so I can't fully understand it. Then you should be able to live in that state, right? I think that leaving it up to the states so that you can live in an area that has the moral system that you abide to is correct. Oh, sorry. All authority should be questioned. Agreed. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Like, what, dude? Sure. I don't know. What's the alternative? I don't know. I hate that question. Taxpayers should not be expected to prop up any theaters or museums that cannot survive on a commercial basis. Oh. Is there value to maintaining knowledge that is not equally valued by society? Theaters, I disagree with. Museums, I think I might disagree with this. Oh, wow. Maybe I do agree. Should the government be paying for something that wouldn't survive on its own and that provides like knowledge or entertainment value, I guess? I guess I agree more. Taxpayers, yeah. I mean, I'm very much pro taxpayers not having to pay for things that aren't absolute necessities by the government. So yeah, I guess I agree more. Schools should not make classroom attendance compulsory. Schools should not make classroom attendance mandatory. Schools should not. I disagree. I think that classroom attendance should be mandatory for high schools. The reason for that is if you're under the age of 18, I don't think that you can fully conceptualize the result of your actions. Therefore, there should be more laws requiring you to do things so that you're set up for society. All people have their rights, but it is better for all of us that different sorts of people should keep to their own kind. I disagree. I mean, if you want to keep to your own kind, I think that you should be able to, but I don't think that you should segregate society. Good parents sometimes have to spank their children. Agree. Strong. Ooh, just regular agree. Yeah, I think that how you want to treat your child or teach your child is up to you. And you know your child better. I do think that some parents take it too far, but I don't think that there's an issue with spanking. It's natural for children to keep some secrets from their parents. Yeah. Yeah, it's just a fucking normal human thing to do. Possessing marijuana for personal use should not be a criminal offense. If alcohol is legal, marijuana should also definitely be legal. Like currently in the U.S., I think that marijuana should be legal. In general, though, I'm very anti-drug. It does a lot of bad for you. It does a lot of bad for society. So if I could like start a country from scratch, basically all drugs would be illegal. You can't illegalize them now because then you have things like the Prohibition era. Oh, criminal offense. Yes, I think it should be illegal. I don't think it should be a criminal offense. Oh yeah. Okay, easy question. Thank God, because I was like fumbling with this question. Yeah, I don't think it should be a criminal offense. I think it should be illegal, but not a criminal offense. Agree. Yes. I don't think that no victim crimes or victimless crimes, that's what it is, should be a crime. The prime function of schooling should be to equip the future generation to find jobs. Agree. Is there a different prime function? People with serious inheritable disabilities should not be allowed to reproduce. Disagree. I think that everybody has a right to have children. The most important thing for children to learn is to accept discipline. My only thing is most important. But I'll agree, I guess. I think that children learning discipline is very important. There are no savage and civilized peoples. There are only different cultures. I mean, you have things like, what is it, Island? That are cannibals. Or like in the Bible, and people are going to hate me for using the Bible as a source, but parts of it are historical texts. You have, is it Sodom? Where they like sacrificed children and did words that I don't know if I can say on YouTube. Yeah. I disagree. Those who are able to work and refuse the opportunity should not expect society's support. Yes. If you are able to work and you are just going to lay around, we should not help you. I strongly agree with that even. When you are troubled, it's better not to think about it, but to keep busy with more cheerful things. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's how I am. I think that a lot of people will prey on their troubles and then they destine themselves for more troubles. If you just focus and be grateful, you'll a lot of times be better off. First generation immigrants can never be fully integrated with their new country. Disagree. Joel Twynham. He is a first generation immigrant into the U.S. I think that he is fully integrated. I have instantly proved this wrong. What's good for the most successful corporations is always ultimately good for all of us. Strongly disagree. What? No broadcasting institution, however independent its content, should receive public funding. I agree. You risk funding. Yeah, I don't know. I think there's too many risks involved. No, I think I disagree with that. Can I go back? I don't think you can go back. I think I disagree with that. That's my fault. And how, like, things like the newspaper, I have no problem being like publicly funded. Our civil liberties are being excessively curbed in the name of counterterrorism. I think they are. I don't know. I've heard that they are, and I've heard compelling arguments. I don't know enough about this. A significant advantage of a one-party state is that it avoids all the arguments and delay. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that a one-party state is good, but this is an advantage. Although the electronic age makes official surveillance easier, only wrongdoers need to be worried. I disagree. I think that, in general, you being monitored and over-monitored can lead to bad things. The death penalty should be an option for the most serious... I agree. Yeah, I think if you take another human's life, a human's life is so valuable that the only thing that is a fair punishment is death. The only thing that's a little bit scary about the death penalty is when people end up getting proven innocent after its use. So, but I think that it should be an option. Abstract art that doesn't represent anything shouldn't be considered at all. I mean, I don't care. I'm not an artist. In criminal justice, punishment should be more important than rehabilitation. Disagree. I think rehabilitation should be more important than punishment. It is a waste of time to try to rehabilitate some criminals. I disagree. I guess I technically agree with this. I think that there are some people that attempting to rehabilitate them does nothing, but I still think that you should attempt with everybody. The business person and the manufacturer are more important than the writer and the artist. I think I agree with this. Yeah, I think I disagree. Wait, is this a society thing? Like business people and manufacturers are more important than art? Then yeah, I agree with that. Or is this like the writer and the artist are trying to sell their art and these people should make more money? I think I agree with this. Mothers may have careers, but their first duty is to be homemakers. I agree. I do agree. For me, a goal of mine is that my wife won't have to work. Now, if you want to work, I have no issue with that. But for me, I want my wife to take care of the kids, and it is my job to make the money. That's a goal of mine. So I strongly agree with this, actually. I think I do strongly agree with this. Yeah, I do. Almost all politicians promise economic growth, but we should heed the warnings of climate change, of climate science, that growth is detrimental to our efforts to curb global warming. I think I disagree. For the most part, I think that global warming is a real thing. It's basically been proven, but I think that economic growth is one of the best ways to prevent it. Third world societies are one of the biggest contributors to global warming, and allowing everybody to live a more advanced lifestyle is a good way to prevent global warming. Making peace with the establishment is an important aspect of maturity. Yeah, I would agree. Like, if you hate Trump right now, he's in power. You still gotta, like, wish him the best, you know? And if you hated Biden, same thing, right? You gotta make peace with who's in charge. Astrology, no. Strongly disagree. You cannot be moral without being religious. I disagree. I have a good friend of mine who is very moral, and he follows religious morals, but he's not religious himself. I'm almost in the same boat, I think. Charity is better than Social Security. Yes. Strongly agree. Social Security fucking sucks. Some people are naturally unlucky. Agree. Absolutely. Yep. Born without legs? Not your fault. It's unlucky. Almost strongly agree. It is important that my child's schools instills religious values. I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, but I agree. I do agree. I think that one of the things that makes America great is the foundation of, like, Christian morals that have been slightly lost. If you build a country, like, this is something I really respect about Muslim countries. If you really build a country around one moral system, the fact that on issues everybody has, like, the same moral system to vote off of is really valuable, and it really allows your country to, like, stand behind their moral system, and I have a lot of respect for that. Sex outside marriage is usually immoral. I agree, even though I've done immoral things. A same-sex couple in a stable, loving relationship should not be excluded from the possibility of child adoption. Yeah, I agree. I would agree. Not strongly agree, but I agree. Pornography depicting consenting adults should be legal for the adult population. Strongly disagree. I think that is terrible. I think if we could get rid of pornography, it'd be a good thing. What goes on in private bedroom between consulting... I don't really care. I don't want to talk about it. No one can feel naturally homosexual. I disagree. Although I do feel like you can be unnaturally homosexual. These days, openness about sex has gone too far. I agree. I don't want to hear about it. You can tell by my answers. Look at that. Same exact spot I was before. These might be the same exact values, actually. I think I've even answered questions differently. I think on social media, I get accused more of being, like, way over here, but I think that's just where America is right now. The left is much louder than the right. They are. Yeah, they just are. It is unbelievable. Like, I will post a video attacking the right, and I'll get hate for it. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of Trumpers that are like, rah, you fucking rah, you liberal piece of shit, right? But when I post a video attacking the left, even if it's something like gerrymandering, which everybody is against, oh my god, I get DMs, I get death threats. It's crazy. And they are real people. Like, I can go to their profile, I can go to their Instagram that is linked to their profile. These are real human beings. It's not just bots. It's scary, man. It's scary. So I'm a little bit afraid to, like, put this out there, but I'm fucking center, right? This is center. This box right here is center. I would even argue, like, this box right here is center. But this is cool.